Crackers Witherstorm mod. This mod has been taking over the internet recently, with over 200,000 downloads and hundreds of YouTube videos being made about it. No one can deny that this is one of the most fun, most epic fights Minecraft has ever seen, but that leaves the question, why? What is it that makes this mod so awesome, so fun? Well, the first answer to that lies in the progression. When you first start out in the Witherstorm mod, you just begin like a normal survival world. You punch a tree, you get some stone, you upgrade to iron, and then you find this house that's lying out right at the coordinate 0, 0. You go and check it out, and on the top there's an uncompleted wither, but with a command block in the center. Most people are curious enough that they'll end up breaking the one wither skull on the ground and placing it and summoning the wither. Now, this is a great mistake, but most who don't know this mod won't realize. It won't take very long, however, after the suspense boss music begins, for the player to realize that they've made a mistake. Once the wither spawns in, the player realizes that they cannot damage the storm at all with their sword or with their bow. They flee. They realize that they can run, and they run away as far as they possibly can. After this, they just spend some time playing normally. They build a house, they start enchanting, get some diamonds, upgrade to netherite, all the usual stuff, but always in the background there's this Witherstorm, ever growing and ever coming closer, and the player knows that they must flee before it comes. After some amount of time, the player defeats the Ender Dragon and returns home, only to realize that the Witherstorm is already right on top of where they set up their house. Instead of just being a normal wither like it was before, this thing is now massive, takes up loads of space, has 3 massive heads, and is eating large clumps of land at once. The storm, of course, will destroy all of the players' previous buildings, their house, and their enchanting setup, and everything else that they built, and will absolutely destroy all of their progress. The player, being very angry at this point, will do its best to try to kill it, especially with its newfound elytra, but the player will never get a chance, because this thing is now almost invincible. After a bit of time of getting repeatedly sucked up and falling back down to the ground, a wither symbiont spawns. The player figures out that they can fight this and kill it, and they do, getting many battle wounds in the process. But regardless, the player obtains a command block book from the remains of the wither symbiont and crafts the Formidabomb and destroys the Witherstorm. Only to realize that the Witherstorm has not been destroyed and is more powerful than ever because of the command block that resides inside of it. After killing a few more wither symbionts, the player is able to upgrade some of their tools to the next tier of items, the command block items. During this process, the Witherstorm has evolved more and now has a massive hole in its forehead. The player realizes that they can throw an ender pearl into this hole because it's kind of an obvious thing to do, and that they end up in the bowels of the Witherstorm. Once there, the player progresses until they end up in the chamber where the command block resides. The first thing to obviously do is to hit it with your most powerful tool, which is of course going to be one of the command block tools, and this damages it and begins the ultimate boss fight. After many killing of infected mobs and wither symbionts, the player can finally strike the final blow into the command block, and the boss fight is over. But half of the player's world has been destroyed. This boss fight took an cumulative of probably 4 hours, but this is incredibly dynamic because you can change it for each world in the settings. And this leads me to the second thing that is absolutely amazing about this mod. It is super customizable. So each and every player's experience can be different and unique depending on how fast they want it to go. One person could want to spend several hundred days in Minecraft trying to beat the Witherstorm, whereas others might just want to do it in 30 minutes. And this is all customizable within the settings menu. It is absolutely amazing, and I know the developer went into so much work to make this as dynamic as possible, and they did such a good job. In fact, even on the Minecraft mod page, there are so many things about what mods it's compatible with, what mods it's not compatible with, and how to make it in the settings compatible with these mods. The community feedback that this guy has put into this mod is incredible. I have never seen anything like this before. This is such a well done mod, down to the last detail of even responding to community questions. It is absolutely amazing. But what else causes this to be absolutely insane as far as the progression goes? Well, it fits into Minecraft so very well. It's something that destroys the world, but at the same time, it's the player's fault for spawning it in. And it's easily escapable because since it's right next to spawn, all you have to do is when you first spawn in, realize what a danger it is and run away very, very, very far. That is the best strategy to do, and that is basically the first thing that comes into someone's mind when they see this massive thing sucking up blocks and coming towards them. It fits into the vanilla game of Minecraft so well. It's just an added piece in the progression, and since it upgrades the diamond tools to the command block tools, it gives you a choice when you're at diamond tools. Would you like to spend a lot of time grinding for netherite, or would you like to potentially risk your entire world but for a no durability, the greatest tool in the entire game? And so of course this reflects to different playstyles. You get to do whatever you want, and it's up to the player, and this just fits into Minecraft so well. This is what Minecraft stands for. Each player gets a different experience, and this is exactly how this mod works. It's so amazing. But not only does it act amazing and feel amazing when you're playing it, but it looks and sounds amazing. This boss is the most massive, most crazy, intimidating thing. You can't look at it taking over your world and not wet yourself. This is amazing. It is the most crazy, massive boss you have ever seen, with so much detail put into it. It lags out your computer humongously. But of course, there are settings to change this. You can turn it down in the settings because that is how it is incredibly dynamic and customizable. But it is massive and crazy, and the soundtrack, the boss theme, is incredible. It is, oh my goodness, I could just rant about this all day. The boss theme is incredible. It sounds so awesome and gives a true sense of awe and respect for this massive thing that is taking over your entire world. And it's just so amazing. This boss, it's not like any other boss. Any other boss you would expect in Minecraft, or in any game really, you sit down and you fight the boss. The boss fight can last between 5 minutes and 30 minutes, usually about 30 minutes, but sometimes it can take longer. Sometimes it could take up to like an hour or 2 hours, but usually the entire time during that process, you are fighting the boss. You're not doing anything else. Whereas this is so different. It's so unique, and it's such a good, unique take. In this one, to be able to fight the boss, you spawn it in and then you have to leave because there's a lot of waiting to be done. Of course, you can change this in the customizable settings in case you want to just sit down and fight it. But if you don't, you have to leave. You can gear up. You're not meant to be ready to fight it right at the start. You're meant to spawn it in when you're not ready to fight it, then leave, gear up, and come back. Maybe even do that multiple times. And it's just such a unique idea, and I know the developer has spent a lot of time thinking about the progression and how the player attacks this and goes about defeating the Witherstorm, and it is just so well done and absolutely amazing. There is not a single part of this boss fight that feels out of place or that feels like it doesn't belong in Minecraft. Every single part of it feels like it could be in the vanilla game, unless maybe you're getting into the nitty-gritty details of some of the block models aren't exactly squares. But then again, neither are a lot of block models for mobs, so I think they could get away with it. And I just think this is an absolutely insane thing. It is amazing, and it's just, look at it. It's beautiful in the most horrible, ugly, terrifying sort of way. It is amazing, and I am absolutely in love with this mod. So without further ado, here are a few more clips of this absolutely amazing Witherstorm mod doing what it does best.